All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the battlefield. So finally, we are back playing NTW3, one of the greatest historical mods, if not the greatest historical mod in ever, ever in Total War history. And we've got quite the battle for you today. Look at these glorious men. Look at these guys. God, I love this time period. It really is just a fascinating time period. You know, it's like the start of industrial warfare. You know what I mean? Like, it's just beautiful uniforms, the guns, the powder, the old guard. Yes, it's a fantastic time. And I do love learning about it. Enjoy learning about it. So yeah, we've got a great matchup here. We have a French force, 4 French players taking on 4 coalition players, and this is line of command, I think is what they call it. Pretty sure LOC for short. Basically, all that means is that there are strategic points on the battlefield, and whoever controls the most points wins. Now, usually there's multiple points. I think in this battle, there's one single point. So it's gonna be a slaughter for this little town. Imagine living in this little town. You know, you just wake up, you're going to church, you look out. Oh God. Now I'm sure they would have known a little bit beforehand, you know, just suddenly seeing them. But anyways, they're gonna be fighting for the center location. Let me go ahead and show you the armies really fast. I think we actually have the slow motion here at the beginning. Usually these battles take a while to start up, and look at this, we're already it's already go time. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of hard to see and tell all these French different forces, but we'll check them out as quick as possible. So we have the Italian army from France. So I assume this is the army that I could be mistaken. This is the army Napoleon brought into Italy. He really changed that army, made them a much better fighting force. We've got the Imperial Guard. They are kind of in the center, and they've got some fantastic grenadiers already holding the city. So they're, like I said, in the center. We have Marshal Murat, the very flamboyant Murat, who the Russians would cheer out his name because they loved him so much, which is so fascinating to me. They always wanted to capture him. And Murat has a very epic ending to his life. He essentially was killed by firing squad. And he said, if you want to, I forgot his exact words, but oh man, it's something about, I gotta look it up. So I just looked it up. I've heard it translated many different ways, but essentially he says, soldiers, do your duty, straight to the heart, but spare the face. Fire. So basically he tells the firing squad to fire upon him. I mean, I don't know. That's such an epic way to go out. So very, very cool. And then we have Marshal Soult. He's also a very famous marshal, and I believe those are all the armies. So those are all the French armies, and sure enough, we do hear cannon fire. Over on the other side, we have the 3rd Coalition, so pretty cool. We got the 3rd Coalition Russians, and then there's a 3rd Coalition, like Russian/Austrian force that you can bring to the battlefield, and then we have just normal Austria, which again, part of the 3rd Coalition, and then yeah, I think, let's see, Austria, Russia, and then Russia, Austria. So those are the 4 coalition armies. I think there's 2 main Austrian armies on the flank. Russia's in the center, and then Russia, Austria. I call them Russia, Austria. Again, it's just a combined force also in the center. So as this battle progresses, the French have taken a very solid position in the center, trying to gain control of this middle town here. You can see they're just kind of marching the men around, getting them organized, getting them in position to hold the fort, so to speak. The French have set up their Imperial Guard artillery a little bit behind the town here. I think they're counter-firing on the Austrian artillery. Yeah, see, it's somewhere over here. It's a little hidden right. You can see it firing. Yeah, you can see it firing, but the French artillery is firing back. I think they were originally, you can see, firing upon the advancing army on the, this would be the left flank for the French forces, and they're actually still getting hit. Oh, and here comes a cav charge. The mad lad, Austria, charging in some cav, going for the French artillery. So a great move right there. But the French infantry quickly form square. And unfortunately, I think they've gotten the artillery. I think they did enough damage to where the artillery is out of commission. It is out of work here. I don't know. Or no. Okay, the crew is good. But the horses are dead. I'm pretty sure they had horses. Maybe they did. Ooh, that was close. You see that? But yeah, I think the artillery is okay. And now France is moving up some cav as well. This is a small unit. This is like scout cav. These are called the Immortals. Very epic name. And yeah, they're just scouting up ahead. They are getting lit up though as we speak, as the Austrian lines come in or appear out of the fog of war. And this is the, I believe, the Hungarian infantry. Look awesome. They're right next to the artillery, ready to protect it. That's one thing in this game, man. You got to protect the artillery. If you do not have artillery in NTW3, you are in big trouble. Now over here, the Russians and Austrians have kind of pushed forward. We actually have an Austrian general here, which is pretty crazy. He's pretty far up on the front line. But the Russians have sent up some of their cav, just scouting up ahead. But the French are kind of taking a little bit of a passive approach here. They are starting to move up some cav as we speak, but in terms of their right flank, it's kind of open. The town force's right flank is kind of open to where the Austrians could push up. But here we go. The French are going for a charge. They have some stagnant Russian cav here. And they have advanced forward. But they shouldn't stay long because the Austrian line infantry is opening fire on these dragoons. And they are going to disengage with not too many casualties. So that was a pretty good move. They lost some men here and there, but they're now falling back, reforming. And, excuse me, and that is like kind of the go-to for this game at the start. And it's realistic, right? It's real, obvious. Okay, so like when I say realistic, obviously this is arcadey to realism, you know. It wouldn't be very fun of a game if battles were 100% realistic. It would be like really long, multiple day gaming sessions, you know. It would be a little too intense, but it does somewhat simulate reality in terms of how these battles play out. Oftentimes when the battle starts, you have your scout cav that runs forward. Your cav, your very fast moving units usually go forward and scout and try to hold positions. And then you have the more heavier line infantry, heavier artillery that will roll up to secure those positions. So it's pretty cool to see that play out. And it's very fascinating, very interesting. And my God, I mean, just look at these men march. Is there really anything more terrifying than this? Beautiful mustaches, you know. This is a little before Victorian time period, you know. Just beautiful. Oh wow, so we were watching these troops advance and all of a sudden a general is wiped out. An allied French assault. No, this isn't Salt. A general was wiped out by artillery just right there. So that is unfortunate, and that's just how this time period went. You never know what was going to take you out. It could be a giant ball of iron, or, you know, just a death and destruction flying overhead and it crushes you. So we'll see how France recovers from that. It does stink that they lost a general so early on, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I think if they can still fight well here and do a lot of damage, they won't necessarily need that general's presence. And there's a huge flank of cav here. It looks like we got chasseur. We have I'm not sure. Yeah, chasseur over here, and then I think we have a carabiner cav unit pushing forward. Look at this cav force. That's the other thing I love about this mod. The cav units are ginormous. They are ginormous. All right, so the Austrians are taking a little bit more of a passive approach here. The line infantry are about to meet. Look how glorious these lines look as they begin to advance upon each other. Or more really, the French advance upon the Austrian forces. The artillery is going to be a very huge help. Oh, yeah. Very huge help for the Austrian lines. It's even causing some fear amongst the French lines here. Ooh, you see that cannonball go right over their heads? God, could you imagine? I mean, the horrors of this time period as well. It's a glorious time period, but I would not want to be a soldier in this time period. I mean, talk about just horror. I mean, it's just human instinct to the urge to want to run and take cover, and imagine being forced to be in a line like this, and you gotta hold, and you can see the enemy, you know, aiming at you, preparing to volley, and there's nothing you can do about it. You know, you just gotta stand and pray that it misses you, and there's a good chance, you know, good chance it misses you. There's also a decent chance of it hitting you. But yeah, again, the French are really giving up this right flank. The Austrians are making a move for it, and it's the complete opposite on the other side of this battlefield, where the French are making a move here, and they've already got troops breaking here, probably from the artillery, the Austrian artillery. And now the guns are going crazy as both lines begin to fire upon each other. The French continue to march forward. They get a volley, the march up. Little fire in advance kind of tactics we got going on here. They're really trying to get close. And look at this cap charge here. The French were going for the Austrian artillery. It looks like it's going to be well defended by the dragoons of Austria. Oh yeah, the French cav is starting to lose the stomach to fight here. They might retreat at any moment, but yet they are still going on. They're still going on. They're still fighting. There we go. They break, and right behind them, the infantry is advancing as well. Look how close the French are getting to these Austrian lines. Impressive. Let's go to the other side of the battlefield. Don't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh yeah, big cav engagement over on the far right flank of the French army. Holy moly. Look at this. There's that very loud Napoleon screaming. God, there's like... They really brought out the beauty in Napoleon in NTW3. You know what I mean? Like, vanilla Napoleon looks fantastic on its own, but they did something in this mod to make it so much more cinematic, and like adding fog, and I don't know, it just looks so impressive. This game is so old, but yet looks so good for its time. But yeah, the French still hold on to this town, and look at, they're just like, they have a light defense here, a very light defense. The French cav charge completely fails here. The Russians and Austrians are in control, the third coalition in control of this right, even behind the French forces. Like, they are behind them. And the French, look at this. I mean, it looks like they have committed 80% of their forces, and it is working here. They are overwhelming the Austrian lines, but the French have committed so much of their army to this flank and left the center lightly defended. It's a bold strategy, but we'll see how this one plays out, Con. And we even have, oh yeah, bayonet charging going in. Look at this, the chaos of this front line here. The Austrians still trying to stand tall here, still trying to stand true. We've got some cav from the Austrian forces. Looks like he's fighting off some French cav. Uh-oh. A general is under attack, and this is the general who's unfortunately had the orders to hold this town. He's part of the Imperial Guard. I mean, these are really good grenadier, like old guard type units here, but I mean, they are heavily outnumbered, and I'm not surprised to see that we're just gonna witness cannons line up perfectly with these streets and fire upon the French infantry, because like I said, these are excellent soldiers at fighting in close range. I mean, these are melee masters in the ranks here, and they are using as much cover as possible to protect themselves from the ferocious cannons of Austria. All they are praying for is that Austrian infantry makes a bold push and go into a melee. That is what they want. That is what they need. You can see they went inside the buildings here. So that's very cool. Now over here, there is a huge rout from the Austrian-French lines. Over here, we've got a flank of dragoons, French dragoons from the Italian army, who is pushing the line infantry of Russia from the Third Coalition, causing them to break or close to breaking. There is just complete chaos. So it makes you kind of wonder, you know, I kind of like this. This is, in a way, you could say, not exactly, obviously, it's not going to translate exactly into a video game, but this is a Napoleon strategy. Divide and conquer, defeat in detail, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, the French have combined their forces. I mean, these are multiple players here, and they have taken out a weaker, smaller force. So they have taken out pretty much, it looks like half of the Austrian army, and now they're going to be able to swing around and face what's left of this force. Now, there's still a ton of troops here, and I swear, it doesn't matter how many times you play this game, how many mass routes you've seen in these types, in this mod. A mass rout does not instantly mean defeat. If your army is routing, or if you're the opponent causing that army to rout, it doesn't mean an instant victory. These armies can rout and come back. They can rally and come back. Again, it's very realistic in the sense that armies would mass rout, but they would rally and push back, you know, and try to put the battle back into their favor. So, you know, they are taking heavy losses. This is obviously not a good thing for the Austrian army, but it's not the end of the world. But they've got to be careful. There's some French cav that are running them down, which is a problem. And I wonder if Austria or Russia is going to send over any kind of cav presence over there to try to prevent that. Because, again, that is a problem. When your troops are breaking, they are not fighting. So they're just getting cut down right now. So what we might witness here, let's see, the French are kind of just reforming. So after all that chaos, it was such a quick interaction too. You know, most of these fights, these line battles you see in this mod are very long, you know. But that was very fast because the French were super aggressive, uber aggressive, and they got into melee range and just overwhelmed the Austrian lines. And they're currently walking through. Oh, I thought this was for a second it looked like gravestones. It's like they're walking through a graveyard of Austrians. But they're gonna reform. You might want to get this cav out of here. I think the general does not realize, the player does not realize his general is just like. The bodyguard of the general's like, general? He's like, I'm just admiring their uniforms. No, they're breaking now. They are breaking. The French have taken control. Actually, they're fighting over here for control of this building. But this Austrian unit is all by himself with no support. And there you have it. Oh, but they both break. The French and the Austrians both break here. Oh, here comes an Austrian cav unit. I think, is this a general? Oh yeah, they've got the general. He's trying to evacuate out of there. The French cav coming to support their general. All right, so there's some calm in the air as we speak. Not so much for these Frenchmen who have to be terrified at this point. Just terrified. I would be, being surrounded by so many Austrians. But here we go. This is where they're making their move. And it's actually pretty smart that they finally are making their move. They need to take control of this town. They need to take control because this is the victory point. And the French are pursuing the routing Austrians. I think they want to wipe them off the map. I mean, look how many troops are still here. There's still a decent amount of men. Oh, these, okay. I don't know what these are. Some kind of like drying crop thing. I don't know what this is, but from far away, it looks like men. It looks like troops. So their army looked bigger than it actually is. But yeah, I like this. I mean, the French are on hot pursuit here. Oh, okay. Where was this? Where was this? Hold on. Oh, I see. Okay, that's one of the generals who I assume are evacuating the battlefield. But they are on hot pursuit because they don't want these men to rally. They want to take care of them. So they left their Imperial Guard to hold this town. So they have an epic struggle now to try to hold this town. It's going to be quite the sight here. Can they hold on until reinforcements? Or are they going to feel... Is this grand force here, this elite guard, are they going to feel betrayed by the other French troops, the French commanders who are in hot pursuit instead of coming back and helping this force? But they've got a solid defensive position. I think they can hold out for a long time. But if you're from the, from the Austrian point of view, oh, here we go. Nice open fire here. Oh, dude. These are very good troops right here. I love watching the officer take out his pistol and just, gives him one. Here he goes. Boom. Yeah. That's so awesome. What a Chad. Just an absolute Chad move there. There he goes again. Boom. Oh, nothing came out. Don't you hate when that happens? But yeah, they break the troops. They are falling back. And for Austria, the way Austria needs to win this, they need to use their numbers. They can't, like, this is tradition for me to bring this up all the time, but the Battle of Thermopylae, they can't trickle in one at a time, all right? They need to attack on all angles. They need to go and try to surround and swarm these French troops who are putting up this epic stand. Look at these guys back to back holding a bridge. Now these guys have taken a decent amount of casualties, but look at this, another break here. Now of course these troops will return, but they'll never quite be the same. And we got a melee going on for the building over here, trying to seize control of this very strategic strong point. The French are shifting some troops around to support the troops in the building. Now we've got a street battle over here as well. Look at this. This is getting epic, and they hold them off. The epic Imperial Guard. We got troops up in this almost like fort-like building. Just holding both sides, firing into the streets. Look at it. You can see in here. Like, it would be cool. I would love for a more modern Napoleon game like this, where the troops would alternate. Like, they would fire, get in line, and then someone else would move up who has a shot ready. That would be so cool to see. Anyways, here comes a big force of Hungarian line. Just point blank firing. This is not a good angle though, because look at this. They fight right by this cathedral or Orthodox church. I'm not sure. The drummer gives the charge drum roll. So we'll see if they can hold. Let's get a kind of bird's eye view of the situation where the French are still holding. Let's see. Where did their army go? I mean, is it legit like the French just... Oh my god. I think these French troops are gonna hold here. They're sending everything they've got now over at this melee battle. Really quick, let's look around on the other side because there is a big battle going. Oh yeah, big line battle going on here as the Russian Austrian force has kind of turned. They've kind of abandoned the town. And here comes a little bit of a cab charge over on the far flank of the line infantry of the Russians. The 8th Dragoons. And then we got a counter charge by the Russian cav. The beautiful white and red trim. This is actually a really nice uniform. It's got the gray pants, the red trim, the white with the black kind of the collar there. The badges or whatever you want to call them. I don't know the correct term. Very nice looking, very elegant. But they should defeat the French there. But the French are causing some issues for the line infantry. All right, the French are getting fatigued, man. They're getting fatigued. So yeah, they might fall after all. Oh yeah, they lost the building there. It looks like the French are on their last stand. Look at them getting pushed back. They're like, men, defend the standard. Defend the standard. The old guard does not surrender. The old guard dies. Or I think it's the other way. The old guard dies. They do not surrender. Look at the guy with the standard. He's like, you will not take this. Oh, he killed someone. He killed someone. Oh, but right after his teeth get knocked out by an Austrian butt of the gun. There's actually German lines. The chaos. But there's a line waiting. They're like, men, fall back. They're like, for our brothers, charge. I don't know why I gave them British accents, but whatever. I can't speak French. I would love to learn it, though. It just takes effort. Oh my god, but that rallying charge broke the Austrians. The rallying charge. Okay, I know there's a big battle going on here, but this is kind of epic over here. I like there's just so much going on. So that was a really good charge. That was a well-timed charge. That was so cool. That was really cool. Now they're going to take back this building. The French are rallying. And, oh, there's a little bit of a cav engagement back here. But it doesn't really matter if the French lose this because they have so much infantry left. They still hold this building as we speak. So, and they just took it. So the Austrians lose here. They've got a couple troops that are coming back to the fight, but I just don't think they have enough to take this town. So if the, well, I mean, this is an interesting situation. All right, so the French are now setting up another kind of last stand situation. They're falling back to this little town. They're going to use the choke points to try to win this one. You can see, and I'm really shocked to see not an aggressive push here by the coalition. They should be trying to cut them down as they retreat to the town to try to weaken them as much as possible, but it seems like they're kind of just letting them fall back. So now we have a situation where the tables have kind of turned, and now the French are divided, and we have this large coalition army that is, relatively speakingly, large, that is going to be pushing on the French. But the French have a solid force here. It's not like this is a super desperate situation. They still have a healthy amount of troops here that are definitely outnumbered, but in a superior position, like using a superior position like this little town here. I think they can easily destroy this army if the Austrians are not too careful. I mean, if they do the same thing they did over here, it's gonna be trouble. My god, look at these guys. Imagine being the Hungarian line here and just being like, all right, guys, I don't think we're gonna win this. I mean, look at all of our brothers up here. Look at them all. I mean, there's definitely some French troops mixed in, but this is majority Austrian forces. Look at this. And the French standing on the victorious dead and the defeated dead as well. God, that crackle. That crackle. So the Austrians are getting lit up right here. Weird positioning. I don't know if this is just like pathfinding error. Doesn't matter. They break. It almost looked like they were trying to use this little chamber here from the cathedral to protect their men, but yeah, I don't think they were trying to do that. I don't even think this might be. You might be able to shoot through this. I'm not sure. But the French now shift, and this urban warfare, the street battles, seems to be coming to a close. And the French are victorious here, but the sad thing is, like, they can't maneuver over and help their comrades over here. They really can't, you know, help them out, because this is a victory point. This is the 3-pointer. If you look closely, the 3 points right here, and they kind of have to hold. They might be able to send 1 or 2 units over, but it's risky, because just in case this army here falls, they need some sort of significant force to hold this town, and it might be enough to win it. You know, it really just depends on if the French, you know, how much they destroy this army after they take this town, if they take this little town here. Anyways, this is another last stand here, as the Russians, they're like, all right, the Austrians couldn't get it done. Let's see if the Russians can. I don't think they've sent enough. I don't think they've learned. And I get it, they don't want to send too much because they have to deal with the other French force over here. This is such a unique battle too. This is really playing out in a way that you don't see too often. But here we go, the Austrians, the ones leading the charge, are already depleted here. You know what I would do? I would completely flip the table here. I would turn the table if I was the coalition. I would leave like a rear guard force here and then fall everybody back and take this, no matter what the cost, take this village because it's so easy to defend. Just send everything, leave like maybe 6 units here to slow down the French, and just take control of this, and GG, you win the game. You win the game. I think the coalition is making the mistake of attacking this town in waves instead of just bringing a huge force to control it. Because again, this is the 3 points. This is how you're going to win the match. Whoever controls this at the end of the battle is going to be victorious. And we're down to 25 minutes left in the battle. So I mean, there's still plenty of time, but it's getting there, you know, less than half for sure. So you can see the coalition is really using their advantage here, which is artillery. I think the French have lost their artillery. They lost it pretty early on, and I think that's why they were so aggressive with their infantry. Here we go. The brave. They're lining up, they're preparing. Forming up a new line. Protecting the right flank of this town. And yeah, I mean, they've got multiple units in the buildings here. They have their line infantry kind of holding the gaps. This is a tough fight. This is a tough fight for these men. Yeah, and that's a smart play. It's just they're outgunned over there. They need to try to create some distance. They really need the Austrians and Russians to funnel in. That's what their best bet. Right there, that's a losing fight because, you know, there's so many of them. Oh, no. Oh, no. I think they're breaking the French. They broke 1 unit. But the last 2 French infantry are the ones holding this building. 87 men left. Oh, look at these green uniforms. So cool. Like, quickly reload. Reload and open fire. It's kind of a cool shot right there. All right, we got a big line battle here. The French, man, they are standing guard, heavily outnumbered. I don't know, guys. The French are definitely looking, it's looking bad. They need a big break here. And I mean that literally in, like, metaphorically or whatever. Like a big break. They need to either break a huge section of the army or, you know, they need something to happen. But with the Cav, oh, well, there you go. That's a pretty big break. The French sneak over some Cav. And they, oh my God, I didn't even see this happen. The French run over Cav and destroy the Russian reserves that were, I assume, planning to attack this stronghold here. So that's huge right there. They probably want to shift this Cav, and they are. They want to shift the Cav back over to the Russian, Austrian forces. And we've got some Italian forces. The Italian, not you know, Army of Italy pushing forward, and we've got the rear guard forming for the third coalition. The Cav went in for a charge there, and that's a great move by the coalition. What they're not necessarily trying. I mean, they would love to charge in and break these units, but all they're trying to do is force these men to form square. Because obviously when the line is in a square formation, they're not going to be able to compete against a line that is in normal line formation. So they're just causing the line to kind of have to form square and put themselves in a vulnerable position, I suppose. Man, look at the chaos of this fight here. And here comes another Cav charge. And sure enough, the player is watching, the general, I should say, is watching very closely and making sure he forms square at the right time. But yeah, look at the smoke, the artillery bombardment. Like, it's just an epic stand here. A battle of two last stands. That's really cool. And here we go. The French Dragoons. They're madmen. They're depleted. They're down to 34 men. They are now rushing the artillery. There's a gap in the line. Absolute madmen. It's like they were possessed by the devil as they charged in here. I mean, they're down. I mean, they had a unit of 100 down to 31. I think they had 34 men when they initially charged. Just madmen, and it works. They take out the artillery. That's huge. That is huge, guys. This rear guard is kind of collapsing to the wild-eyed, crazy 23rd Dragoons of France that is just wiping out the artillery. Where's the Cav? He might have to shift over some Cav. Yeah, get this Cav over. I think they need to support this back line. The French Cav is just unchallenged right now. They're now down to 30 men. 4 brave souls have been killed or wounded. And this Cav is exhausted. Look at eager. They're eager, but exhausted. And they are concerned about the casualties, but they know what's at stake here. I'm surprised this isn't Muret, who's a very brave marshal who charge in all the time. And that's why the Russians loved him, because he was very flamboyant. He had his fancy uniforms, and he was very brave. And he was a lady killer, you know? That's just, he was a man amongst men. But there we go. This is probably the end of the end of the great story of the. Well, no, they're breaking even more men. Oh my God. This is the 23rd. Remember their name, the 23rd Dragoons. Where were you when the 23rd Dragoons charged? And they have sliced a path through the Austrian lines. They've now made it into the town. They're gonna survive, guys. They're gonna make it. That's awesome. Hopefully they just kind of hold in here. They deserve to live, man. Those brave 34. All right, so a good flank by the third coalition here. They've got their infantry really trying to pepper down this defense as much as possible. But this has become a little bit of an issue here. This kind of rear guard from the coalition need to take care of the French forces that are kind of harassing their back lines. The French have actually yeah, they've actually left this town. I think it's because they realize, you know, there's not much, like, it's all going to come down to this. It's all going to come down to this. There's no more retreating for the French or falling back, you know, advancing backwards. Okay. There's no more of that. They've got to hold this town. They're surrounded. I think the Third Coalition have given up on taking this. Instead, they just want to focus on killing the main French force or what's left of it. And then they're going to turn and take the last town. But yeah, big push here. This is an awesome battle. This is a great battle. I really enjoyed this one. It's always nice to kind of... another French general has died fighting the Russian... I think that was... I assume that's the Imperial Guard general. Most of his troops are dead anyway, so he probably just kind of suicide charged in, tried to do as much damage as possible. This is what's left of the Imperial Guard. These are the last two who are holding the buildings. Let's see what they can do. These two units. I love watching like few men make a huge impact on the battle. But yeah, this has been a great battle. Just, it's very unique. It's been nice to take a break from NTW3 and come back to it fresh. And definitely expect a lot more NTW3 battles here in the future. All right. These men kind of forming up here. They're using the cover of the buildings, setting up. Now the Third Coalition is starting to squeeze here. The death squeeze, but will it be enough? It's like all corners of the world is collapsing on this army. And do they have the strength? Like Atlas holding up the sky. Can the French hold up the sky? The sky of Austrians and Russians falling down on them. And here's the yes. Oh, they're getting charged. They're gonna form square. Oh, I love watching the horses buck. There we go. That was a little concerning. I thought they were gonna break there, but they do form square in time. They're gonna pop some shots, kill some cav. They're gonna form back into line. Actually, they're falling back. I like it. I like it. He's not just throwing these units away. He's keeping them alive to be kind of a nuisance on the Third Coalition. There we go. There's more firing upon the troops here. Look at them as they stand under the shade of this big, what is this, like a huge oak tree? I don't even know. I'm no tree expert. Look at that. They form a square around it. It's like they've gone back to their pagan roots, defending the great sacred tree. Here goes the charge. Kaiser Franz. Is this a general unit? I think it is. Maybe not. I don't know. Let's go back over here to the last stand where they're still closing in. No units have gone for the charge yet. It makes sense too. This is a very delicate situation. They are trying to soften up these men as much as possible before they have to charge in. Now keep in mind there is a limited number of ammo for these troops here. So they can't sit back and fire all day. Nor, even if they did have infinite ammo, they can't sit here all day because they only have 13 minutes left. And France controls the victory point with one unit, but he still controls it. And here we go. Look at this. Look at this Imperials. The Imperial Guard. Causing these men to nearly break. Oh my god. This is... Who... This is really... Oh, good flank here. Good flank. Oh, really good flank. Okay, this is good play here by the Third Coalition. They've got their line infantry flanking around. They got the cav all the way behind them. They close in while they're in square formation. The old guard, look at these guys. They're like, stand your ground. Stand your ground. We fight for our brothers who are surrounded. Oof. The colors have fallen. The standard has fallen. I wish someone else would pick it up, you know? That would be so cool. Those little details. You know, that's why I love Napoleon, because you can zoom in and see these little details of single soldiers doing really cool stuff, like the officer. No, that's the drummer. No. That's the officer. He's still alive. Yes. Get him. Yes. Fire away, man. Fire away. But yeah, you can see little details of individual soldiers doing cool stuff. I wish they added more of that. You know, like troops running to pick up the standard when it falls. That would be awesome. Oh, here we go. Another cav charge. The French form square. This is the final countdown, guys. We're down to the wire. It's still tough to say he's going to win this one. There's a clear, obvious advantage in numbers for the third coalition. But I think the positioning is in favor of the French, as they form a defensive position on this land bridge. We have this one unit holding off many. They're about to get flanked. They might want to form square just to hold multiple angles. But yeah, they're on their last leg. Look, the morale is plummeting. They can't hold on much longer. These guys form square again. Okay, he's charging his cav into square. Look at all the men that are dying from being bucked off their horse. They don't care. They're going in. I think they killed enough to break the square formation. I'm pretty sure Napoleon, if you don't have enough troops, they can't form square. They still hold the standard, and the officer... No, that's not the officer. Is the officer still alive? I think he's dead, but the standard stays intact. And the brave old guard here, the brave grenadiers... hold on. Now they actually break formation. It looks like they're falling back. And it seems like they're just slowing down these troops as much as possible. 8 minutes left. The French still holding over here. There, you got 2 units in the building now. Maybe that's what... I don't know. It looked like the troops were running out, but maybe it was a new unit going in here to hold. Yeah, they're putting in all their marbles basically into these buildings. This is their last hope. I think this is the victory building here. The point, not the victory building, but the point building. All right, they're falling back. Are they falling back over here? Interesting. Yeah, they are falling back. So these troops have left the town. They're giving it up. Again, I think it's for the points. It's for the LOC. They control this. They control this. You notice how these troops are in these buildings. Even though the minimap doesn't show that there's points, I'm pretty sure there are points here. So they control this one, they control this one, and they are probably about to control this one over here. But yet the Austrians desperately want this. Here we go. Mass charge. Going into the buildings. Oh my god. Huge force here. Huge force. Look at the French. Is like, yeah, climb down the ladder. That's smart. Imagine how much kills they can get from just camping the ladder. But yeah, they're running down. Oh yeah, Austrians are just flooding the streets. Austrians and Russians. Germans and Hungarians. There we go. They've taken this building as we speak. We got another church here, it looks like. So yeah, that looks like well, I mean, the Austrians are barely taking this. We're down to 3 minutes left in the fight. I think, yeah. Let's see, they've taken control. Yeah, the French have won based on points, I assume. So I think we have a clear winner here. Again, just based on the points captured. You have to be in the building, I'm pretty sure. But they've got this one. They've got this one. They've controlled this one and this one as well. So I do like the system too. It's not like just a battle to the death. having strategic locations that you have to fight for forces players to be aggressive or defensive, but in a cool way. It's like they're defending a point for a reason, you know, not just because, oh, the terrain is nice. It's actually for a reason. So the Austrians have taken control of one single point, but at the end of the day, that's not going to cut it. All right, here we go. So here's the end results. So this was sent in by Lunarad, who got 1,215 kills, which is crazy. Like, look at the enemies killed. Like, it feels like there would have been a lot more kills in this battle, but keep in mind, there is a lot of breaking. And again, that's pretty realistic, right? Like, probably, I mean, like, it's more realistic to see less troops dying, because usually in Total War, it's like 2 armies will fight to the death, you know, which is not realistic. Anyways, here are the kills. I'll just kind of zoom, and I think this is Lunarad's kills, who was controlling the Imperial Guard army. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up here, guys. It's great to be back playing NTW3. If you enjoy this, if you enjoyed the video, of course, don't forget to like and all that jazz. It does mean a lot. It does help out the channel. I have for those of you who stayed long enough for the end here, I have been thinking about maybe setting up a tournament with a cash prize for NTW3, just because I think it works a little bit better compared to Rome 2 siege battles, you know. So we'll see. But I was hoping to probably raise charity. I had some ideas of maybe doing like a Kickstarter or a fundraiser or whatever, where like 70% of funds raised will go to charity, and then the 30% of what's left will go to the victors. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. We'll talk about it. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time on the battlefield.